everybody, Morgan with the Vin Answer here, and today I want to show you how to put together this T-Rex, Tutus, and Tiaras birthday party. It's a fun and frilly take on a dinosaur birthday party, and it's so simple to put together. So in the description box below, I've got templates as well as printables that makes this party really easy to do. All the printables are there, including an invitation that's customizable for your own party. So check out the link below, and let's get right into building this party setup. The first element I'm going to tackle is the gold dinosaur, which goes on the backdrop. Now this is from the templates in the description box below, and I've just tile printed it on my home printer, assembled it with some tape, and loosely cut it out, and I've got it on the back side of some gold poster board. And I'm just going to temporarily secure this to the back of the poster board using a little bit of glue stick glue, because I don't need this to be permanent. I just need to hold this in place long enough so I can cut out the poster board. Once that's secure, I'm going to go in with a pair of scissors and an X-Acto knife to get into some of those really tight spots, and just following that template, cut out the dinosaur. As you're cutting out the dinosaur, be careful with the gold side of the poster board. I noticed as I was using my scissors and moving the poster board around, it was really easy to scratch up that gold side. So just be kind of delicate with it. You don't want to bend the poster board too much, as that might wrinkle it, and don't scratch it either. So I'm just going to pull the template off the back, and this dinosaur is ready for a tutu. I wanted to stretch across the front of the dinosaur's legs and up onto the back, and so I'm going to be using some colored yarn here, as well as some 6-inch wide tools in various colors to make that tutu. The first thing you have to decide is how long you want your tutus to be. Mine I want to be 5 inches long, and then to that measurement you need to add a 1/2 inch extra that will allow for tying the knot around the ribbon or string. So my template is 5.5 inches long, and that will give me the correct size for my T-Rex. So I'm going to take my roll of tulle and start it right on the edge of my template and just start wrapping it around. I did it, I think, about 30 times. Just make it however many you need for your tutu. So I'm going to cut it right along that edge, and then go in with my scissors and get it underneath all of those layers of tulle, and put the scissors right up against the edge of the cardboard and cut a straight line right across. And that will give me pieces of tulle that are all the same length. And then I just repeated this process as needed in all the colors I plan to use for this setup. I'm using pink yarn for the waistband of my tutu today, but you could always use ribbons or elastic depending on how you want to use it. And I'm just going to cut it a little longer than my T-Rex is wide, and I'm going to take a little bit of tape and secure my yarn down to the work surface. I found it was much easier to tie on the pieces of tulle when I could pull a little bit on this waistband string. So I'm just going to put that on the workbench and then start off with my first piece of tulle. To attach the tulle to the waistband, I first gathered it up so that it was all together, and I folded it over my index finger in half so that the two tails align with each other. And then I'm going to take the loop end and put it underneath my waistband string. And then put my fingers through that loop and grab the two tails and pull them up and through, using a gentle tension, sometimes holding the waistband to give me something to pull against. The important thing here is consistent tension as you tie that knot. If you tie the knot really tight on some and then really loose on others, it's gonna look a little wonky. So if you want really loose knots, consistently do loose knots. If you want really tight ones, do that consistently. And I'm just gonna go along and alternate colors until I have the right length for my T-Rex here. I'm going to secure that tutu to the back side of the T-Rex just using a little bit of tape, and so I'm going to slide that string between the arm and the leg of the dinosaur, making sure that tutu comes right to the edge of the poster board. I really don't want the yarn showing, so I'm going to pull it nice and tight around the dinosaur and tape it in place, and then trim those tails so that they don't hang free. Now I'm just letting the tutu do its natural curve. If for some reason you didn't like the shape of the tutu, you could always glue this down a little bit so it stayed exactly where you wanted it to be. And this dinosaur is ready for hanging. But we're not quite done with tutus. I wanted to bring this element to different places on the table, so I've made more tutu, and I'm going to attach that to my dessert plate as well as the tray that I'm putting water bottles in. Now I'm going to be attaching these with some 1/2" glue dots, and I want to put those just right on the very edge of my dessert plate every couple of inches. And then right where I'm going to stop and start the tool, I'm going to put 2 glue dots right next to each other because I need a little bit more adhesion right there. So with my tool, I'm going to take that first knot on the string and press it into my glue dot. Once that one's secure, I'm going to pull the string taut and line up the knot that's right in front of the next glue dot and press it in place. I want to keep the string pretty taut all the way around the plate, and that way my tutu doesn't sag. Now once I get all the way around to the very start point again, I'm going to push the tool back a little bit so that it lines up to the very edge. Press that last one in place and then tuck my extra strings back behind until they're hidden. If there are places where the tool is sagging down a little bit, you can always add another glue dot to the very edge of the plate and secure the tool in place there, because you want this to be really nice and level with the edge of the cake plate. And then just fluff out the ends, and this is ready for the sweet treats to sit on top. The next party element I'm going to make are some craft foam dinosaur feet that the kids can actually wear around the party and take home as favors. I printed my templates out on some cardstock and cut them out so that they'll be nice and easy to trace around onto the craft foam. I'm going to do these in coordinating colors with the feet and the nails being different colors. Now you could also have this be a craft that the kids at the party do depending on the ages. You could cut the feet ahead of time and allow the kids to decorate with markers or feathers or glue different things on them and let that be an activity, or this could just be pretend play and they can take them with them. I'm just going to finish up cutting all of these out with a pair of scissors, going around all of my outside lines and cutting all of these inner shapes as well, because that's where the kids' feet will go. So I'm going to use a hot glue gun to put all of the claws or nails onto these. You could also use glue dots if you were wanting the kids to put these on themselves. But this goes together really quickly, and once you've got everything attached, you would put these on just like a pair of shoes. You would slide your foot in, and then that tongue part would go right on the top of your foot, and you're ready to stomp around like your dinosaur self. Now we're not quite done with those dino feet templates. So we have all this leftover scrap pieces of gold poster board from cutting out our dinosaur, and I'm going to use those extra pieces as well as these feet templates to make some gold feet that I can insert into my greenery arrangements. And this will really tie elements together and bring that gold off of the backdrop and onto the table. So I'm just going to trace these out the best I can onto the scraps that I have, cut them out with a pair of scissors, and then I'm going to hot glue them to some long bamboo skewers at the very end, and that way I can insert these right into my greenery arrangements. I also left a couple of these without sticks and just laid them flat on the table because how cool are gold dinosaur tracks? To bring more of that metallic gold element to the table, I've bought all of these little dinosaur toys in a couple different sizes, and I'm going to spray paint them gold. But first I need to put a primer coat on it so that I can have a nice even base coat before I get the gold on. So I'm just going to layer one coat of this white primer on it and making sure I get all angles and inside the dinosaurs' mouths, because you can see that. And then I'm going to come back with this metallic gold spray paint and cover everything with one coat of gold spray paint as well. And these just add such a fun and shiny element and are a great way to tuck into the table, or you can even send them home as favors if you'd like. And now for the final coordinating pieces. So these are 2.5-inch round cupcake toppers and are part of the printables set in the description box below, and I've just printed those off on my home printer, cut them out, and now I'm going to hot glue on some toothpicks to the very bottom, and that'll make it super easy to put into some cupcakes. And last but not least is the happy birthday banner. So I printed these out on cardstock and cut them out. They're 5-inch wide circles, and I'm just going to hole punch 2 holes right across from each other on the top of all of these and tie them all together using a little bit of string. Now I chose this embroidery string because it disappears really easily on the backdrop, and I'm just going to thread that in through the front, across the back, and then back out towards the front. And this means that my string isn't obscuring the front of that birthday banner. And if you didn't want to use string, you could always use yarn or ribbon. You just need a bigger hole to do that. And now let's get this all hung up. The first piece I'm going to hang is the T-Rex, and I just put some command strips that have the Velcro on them on his head as well as the tail, and I'm going to stick that to my portable wood wall, which I've already set up. I'll link that above if you'd like to check out the video on how to make that wall, and I've also got some pink frilly curtains behind that on my backdrop stand. So once the dinosaur is in place, I can then put the happy birthday banner around it and kind of gauge the spacing so that everything has a little bit of breathability, but you can also see it above the table that I'm going to put in front. Once I'm happy with that placement, I'm going to come in with lots of different kinds of greenery. I love the jungle look, so I'm just bringing that in with some airy greenery that comes off the sides of the wood wall, and then I'm going to echo that greenery on the table with some more ferns and some tropical leaves as well. I've made a couple arrangements here in a glass vase, and then we're going to bring in all the elements we made. So our tutu cake stand, the tutu tray for the water bottles, our gold feet that we made going right into those greenery arrangements. I've also got printables for water bottles that say happy birthday, as well as food labels, and that's what you see on the table there. We've got some more gold feet across the front of the table, and then all of our happy foam feet are going to be put right in the center so that kids can grab those as they come in. And then I'm just going to keep adding some lights and some greenery, and then all of our little dinosaurs to bring it all together. I hope you were inspired by today's project. I love when all the little elements come together to make something really fun and beautiful. And that's what really happened here today. I love this theme and I think it's so much fun to do. And I hope that you'll give it a try as well. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you join my creative community. I make all kinds of party setups, balloon tutorials, and tips and tricks on how to plan events and parties. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And until the next time, you can check out some of the videos over here for more projects and how-tos. So until I see you again, remember to stay creative. Bye!